Dave here. How are you? Today is the 16th of October 2018, Australian Eastern Standard Time, and to say I'm a little bit nervous is an understatement. Now, if I could have someone say with the streams running, that'd be great. It all looks as though it's going well from here, but there you go. I'm hoping it's going fine. As I said, today I'm a little bit nervous because I'm going to be doing the, I hope it's running. Yep. I'm a little bit nervous because I'm going to try something on the CNC. Okay, I'm getting some stuff here, looking good and sounds good, great sound and picture, loud and clear, Dave. Thank you very much for that. Already October in Australia, look at that. I can't believe it's nearly Christmas. Where did the year go? Oh, before I get started, cyclone or hurricane, we have cyclones in the southern hemisphere, but Hurricane Florence has been hammering the east coast of the United States and all of those islands out in the ocean. So I hope you can all find somewhere to get safe if it's affecting you, and I'm just hoping that all the people at least that watch the show and that are subscribers, they're all good. And of course, for everyone, no one wishes harm to anyone at all. So my thoughts are going out to those people that have copped a battering, and if you've lost stuff or lost people, that's terrible. All good. Now, today's show is going to be a little bit different. What I'm going to do is I'm going to switch the camera straight away over to the other one, and thank you so much to the patrons that I've got in Patreon. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be able to buy these things and bring you a show. Look at the color that I've got in this camera. The other camera is exactly the same, and you'll be amazed at how good it is. The only difference being that will be, is it September? October, November? It is September. I'm an idiot. I get lost. October, November, August, September. It's not October yet. That's the fire season. It's with Florence on my mind. I'm thinking about what happens here. So forgive me. Okay. Dear. There you go. I'm an idiot. It's because I'm nervous about this bloody machine out there. Anyway. Yeah, all right. Look, I probably haven't finished what I was talking about, but that's right, Patreon. If you can support me, that's fantastic. I love it. I've got there'll be a message coming through here saying, Dave, it's actually September. How could I forget September? 9/11. That's just crazy. All right. Okay, so I'm going to switch the cameras, and I won't be reading anything here while I'm out in the other room. I've got the other camera set up. I'll switch her over, and you can see where we are. There you go. I'm in the other room now. I'm going to walk over there and get this all set up and get it running. Okay. Now, I don't know if you can see me here. Yep, you can. How good is this? I love it. Thank you so much for these cameras. What I've got here is I've got a prototype of the Stanton bench. You know that I built the Stanton bench in hoop pine, and that works fantastic out there. But I didn't want to this is my first project I've ever done with this machine. So I've just cut some geometrical shapes out with the machine. I have never before had multiple tool paths stacked up to run one after the other. There are 5 tool paths in this setup that I've got at the moment in the TXT file. This is a piece of 16mm melamine, and it's actually 16.5, as someone pointed out to me. So what I did was I checked it with the calipers. I found it to be correct. I have set my punch through depth at 17 millimeters. So that means that I'm not for the holes that I do for this, it'll be going straight through and also going into my spoil board by 0.5 millimeter. That's so I don't have any of the melamine left over and have to kind of push it off. It'll give me a very clean underneath. Now, one of the other things, I make it a rule to try and not do something absolutely first time on the show. And so this morning, about an hour ago, I started this machine up and I ran a little bit on the other side. So I flipped her over and I'm going to start it again. And it's lucky I did, because there was a mess up. So you can follow me through how I go through it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the control box. I'll leave the variable frequency drive off for the moment. So for people that are not aware, or maybe have no interest in CNC, the variable frequency drive runs the spindle. That's this guy here. This is a 3-horse spindle, and it's an air-cooled. It's not a router, it's a spindle, but it does the same kind of thing. It spins very fast. I've set this to 20,000 RPM for this particular job. So I'll leave the brush off for the moment. I will turn on a program here called Mach 3. First of all, I'll turn the machine on. So that's enabled the control box down there. I'll turn this around a little bit so you can possibly see what I'm doing. Mach 3 is down here, and I'll tell it, say OK. It's loading up. Now Mach 3 is the software that actually runs this machine. So I use a program called Aspire. Now it's a Vectric program. If you wanted to and you thought Aspire was going to be a few dollars, there are lesser modules. There is the VCarve Pro and all those kind of things. And the good thing about Vectric is, and this is not an ad, I'm just letting you know, you can buy a lesser unit to start off with, and then you can upgrade to more units, like you can expand the capacity, and there's no cost to you as far as, well, there's no penalty as far as the cost. One unit will cost X amount of dollars. To get up to the next unit, it's the same as if you bought the next unit in the first place. So I thought that, I only found that out last week. All right, here we go. Now, I am going to click the reset button to start. And then I'm going to get this brush out of the way. First thing I have to do is click this here. This is called Ref All Home. So it's going to make the CNC travel up to the top of its Z-axis. It'll come all the way down the Y-axis and then over to the X. I think it's already up and over as far as it'll go, but this lets it know when I've turned the machine on and the computer, it's coming back now. It's gone through all of those processes. Isn't it lovely? And yesterday I spent a heap of time, well, not a heap of time, but I wanted to get this accurate. So basically I calibrated this machine. And I'm going to do a video on how to get it absolutely dead square. I'm not using Pythagoras' theorem. It's another way, and it's quick. And it took me about 5 or 6 attempts, and I got it spot on. It was about 3 millimeters out across 2.5 meters to start. I've got it absolutely perfect. I wanted to do that before I started actually making anything with it, because that error would have been replicated straight onto anything that I've made. So there you go. All right, so now I've got it there. And I'm going to do what's called load the G-code, and I've already made it here. It's called Dave Stanton Live Demo, and it's a TXT document. I've told it that one. It's loaded it all up here. So this is where the G-code lives. I'll just walk you around a little bit to start. These are the X, Y, Z 0 points at the moment. Over here is everything that it's going to do. There are the 5 passes. Down here is how I start it. This is how I can hold it for a stop. This as like a pause button. This is the reset button. Put the code in, load the code. That's basically this code here. Tool information, which tool it is. So the diameter is 6.35 millimeters. Auto tool 0, and that's what I'm going to do in a second. The feed rate, that's how fast it travels. And the spindle speed. And yeah, it's pretty basic. Once you get your head around it, it's pretty basic. Okay, so I am now going to do what's called jog it. I'm going to send it backwards a bit. So what happens now, the machine knows where it is. The software and the machine are talking to each other correctly. Page down brings the cutter down. I'll bring this over a little bit so you can see it a bit better. You've seen enough of what's happening on the screen there. So page down. I want it to go across the X-axis and then back along the Y a little and down a little bit more. Back a bit and page down a bit more. Now I'm going to use the touch plate. This thing here, are you excited? This thing here is basically something that's going to create or complete an electrical circuit. On the back here, there's the touch plate. So when the machine comes down and the tip of the cutter touches that, the software knows the difference between the distance to the top of the plate to the underside of what it's sitting on. So basically it does a little mathematical formula and knows that That's the height it's got to start from, because I've told it to start from 0, which is this surface. Also on this particular one, it knows the X and the Y axis distances. So on the back here are some little lips, and I'll take you through it now how it works. I'm going to put it there. I don't have the spindle turned on yet, so there's nothing can start this. I'm totally safe. I'm going to put that on there. So that's basically saying, all right, as soon as this comes and touches that, it will have completed a circuit. It will stop any of the motion. So I'm going to tell it now to auto tool 0, and it's going to ask me if I want to do the Z, X, and Y, and I've said yes. That was just something off to the side that you won't see. So I'm going to say OK, now it'll travel down. See that? Coming down until it touches, and then pop up. Now I have to rotate the flutes of the router cutter. This is basically all this is a router cutter. You know the flutes, so if you get them top dead center when you're measuring the distance from the front of the cutter back to the fence when you're doing something on a router table, same kind of thing. So I'm going to rotate that, and now it's going to travel across to this side and touch that side. Okay, and as soon as it does, it's going to pop back real quick and then wait for me to tell it to do the other direction. So never get your hands in the way. See that? And that's a sharp cutter in there. So one thing to be aware of. Now all this stuff as well, I'm putting in videos. Okay, so now we're going to do the Y axis. So it's going back there. It'll come back and jump up a little bit. See that? Now I can take the magnet off and remove the touch plate. And now I have to put the brush on. I'm not going to let you guys watch the cutting itself without the brush, because it's just going to throw sawdust everywhere. There's a lot of dust going to come out of here. So I slide that under there. Okay, this is going to be this is the part that's starting to get a little bit scary. All right, now I need to tell it to go to 0, and it's going to come across and down, and the cutter is going to be dead over the top of that. And it's stopping there. This is amazing. Now I'm going to turn the spindle on. So that's the VFD, which is a variable frequency drive. Okay, now this part is where I need to get it started. Okay, I'm going to say cycle start, and it's going to ask me if I want to change the tool, and I'll say no, I'm all good. So this is the scary part. It's going to start the machine up, lift it, start spinning the cutter, and it's going to go down here, and it's going to write Stanton bench down the side. Dust extractor. Now that's a little 1 horse. It's only a little 1 horse Carbotech dust extractor that I've got on it. So it's sucking all the air up through under there, across and down into the dusty. And I'd be lost without it. Okay, here we go. Wish me luck. Go that way. Beautiful. I'm going to bring the camera in closer now so you can see what's happening. Alrighty, I'm out in the other room now. Here we go. But isn't that amazing? Now, there it's done, it's finishing off the word Stanton, and then it's going to finish the word bench. So it's only done BEN for bench. Coming back to finish the word. You can see the result of it cutting. I'm going to read back through the list here. I'm still reading. Tim, you got an 8-year-old daughter watching. That's great. Morning, everyone. I hope you had a Vegemite start to your day. Good job. Morning, afternoon. Dave, you still up? Yes, Graham, we are. It's great that she enjoys watching it, Tim. Still reading through. Still reading through. Okay, yes, okay. So, Graham, you're on now. You're watching. If you have a string code, is there a G string? Oh, okay, off to the corner. This is great. I'm just going to let the machine run, and I'm actually going to shut the door between me and the room. Now, I can't shut it all the way, but it's going to make the sound a little bit better. I can watch what's happening from in here. That is very impressive. I'm going to do a bit more reading. Okay, down to Darren. Dave's having fun. Yes, I am. Good morning, everyone from Portugal, from São Paulo. Are you guys thinking about how long it's going to take? 8 minutes and 30 seconds. No, it's going to take about 37 minutes. The reason being, I've set the step over a little bit too small. I should have set the step over to more. Okay. Okay. So it's going to take a while. So these slots are going to take a little bit of a while. There's 5 slots in total, and the top pass is, let me see, there's no dust, none whatsoever. And that's just one little 1-horse dust extractor. See, it's jumped onto the second slot. Those slots there are for the cushion strips. And I had been asked, how many cushion strips am I doing this time? I'm going to put 4 in. Sam, you said guess 37. Lost Wits, how early did you wake up today? Oh, about 5:30. Like normal. Weekend or normal, I'm awake about that time. Okay. Now, while this is happening, let's talk about some other things, because it's happening in the background. I love it. Isn't it amazing? Absolutely amazing. That's operator error. What's operator? The fact that I've told it a minimal step over. Yeah, well, I'm learning. So for people that aren't aware what step over is, I had it explained to me that it's like when you're mowing the lawn. If you were to mow exactly the width every time, you'd end up with a little fringe along the side. So step over is they normally try and make it, 100% step over, maybe would leave something. What do you mean no sound? Yes, there is. Okay. I can't see that there's no sound. Everything's coming through this end. So Jim, maybe you should check your sound at your end. All right, where are we up to? Can someone just confirm that there is sound? It should be. Yeah, I thought so. All right, so where was I up to? All right, step over. All the dog holes are going to be done at the same time, yes. And it's all being done with a 1/4-inch cutter. Never heard of the term step over though. Okay, well, the step over, as I say, is how much of it's going to create, how much it's going to cut the second pass. So you can see now it's coming down, and it's not cutting a full 6.35 millimeters wide, which is the width of the cutter. It's actually cutting less. It's probably cutting about 3 millimeters. And that's why it's going to take so long. I should have made the step over better. Yeah, okay. I had no sound on the big screen, but now on my office machine and the audio is fine. Good sound, accent strange. Is that right, Graham? Okay. Is this exciting? Like, a lot of people who think we're just weirdos. I can drink some coffee. Yes, it is an overlap. Correct. I'll come back to this camera for a second while that's happening. There we go. Back to me in the other parts of the room. So I've dropped the roller door down a little bit to try and block the sound. I haven't got a USB extension cable long enough for me to get the camera up close to the CNC and drop the door all the way. That's something that I'll probably get further down the track, courtesy of my patrons. I think it's just jumped into a new cut. Let's have a quick look. Yep, here we go. How exciting is this? I can hear the change in the sound of the cutter. Oh man, this is so much fun. I'm loving it. Okay, why did I choose a 1/4-inch cutter? Well, because some of the holes that are going to be cut are 12.7 or 12.5 millimeters diameter in this bench. So if I used a real big one, it probably wouldn't be great. And also, when I've done my name, a 1/4-inch cutter is if I'd gone for larger, I couldn't have done the lettering the same as well. So I'm just letting it run with the 1/4-inch cutter. And whilst it's happening there, I'm going to come back over to this one. Well, where are we there? Switch back to there. And I've got the other camera up in here, so I can watch also what's happening as it's there. I've got another screen right here that's showing what's happening. Well, I get 2 screens in this particular program for both cameras, ready to go. Okay, where are we up to? Well, we are weirdos. Everyone's weird. Like, most people on a Sunday would be out fishing or, you know, going to the park, playing with the kids, throwing a ball for the dog. No, not us. Alan, if you made the step over a bit bigger, I'd have 1. Indeed, you would have. The thing is, I don't want to do too big a step over at this stage because I really do need to learn the limits of this machine. As I say, very, very early days for me. Further down the track, you know, it's like when you get a new car. You just drive it carefully and then you can become a petrol head later on. This is great. Not the start this week, keep it on the machine. Oh, sorry. This is a waste piece. I take it to be done in ply later. Correct. That's right. This is a... if you have a look at the notes regarding what's happening in Patreon, I think it was, I've told everyone there that this is a prototype. This is the first time, you've got to remember, this is the absolute first time I've run a job on this machine. So I'm enjoying this. We'll switch over again. See how she's going. Good size for this job. Yeah, I think so. Spiral cutter or straight flute, Dave. It's a spiral up. Any tear out or roughness with the melamine. We'll have a look at that in a minute, but it's doing pretty well. Dave, it's 2:30 a.m. here. I claim to be the weirdest. Yeah. Stephen, we're all strange in our own ways. Indeed we are. Okay, now while that is happening, I love it. I could watch this all day. You remember when I first started the machine up and I just started playing with it? Well, this is even better. This is even better. Just reading your comment there about the new car, tell them. Jump over to the next one. There we go. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Now, the other thing is, with this particular job, I'm not cutting the piece out of a piece. So I've got clamps holding it sideways. If I was going to be cutting it out, I would probably have hold down clamps and a fair bit of waste. But the way I'm doing it is that I'm holding the, I don't want to waste anything. I just want all of this, because I can get 4 sheets out of one full sheet of melamine or one full sheet of ply. I can get 4 tops out of it. If I was to reduce the size, I wouldn't get the full size out of it. This one is not going to have an apron at the front. This one is only going to be the top, and it's going to have the legs, and it's going to have the holes, and the holes should be perfectly clean. I'm going to read some more down the side here. Makes for a cleaner cut service. Okay. Yeah, Star Trek. Star Trek, I should say. Hilton, Dave, the look of excitement on your face says it all. It's great to see someone so happy. Lost Wits have difficulties getting the 20mm holes perfectly 20mm. Tried to set a 20 on a Morbidelli and it was too loose for the dogs. You must be happy with the Dusty from Wayne. 139 watching, 43 thumbs up. Thank you so much. Thumbs up for this one. This is a cracker. This has got to be a first, hasn't it? No one would have done all this stupidness. John Lafferty, hope you're better. Jeff Robinson, why did you get an air-cooled spindle and not water-cooled? Jeff, this machine was given to me. I have no secret about this. So I took what I was given. So you can see the machine is a CNC router parts machine. I had Vectric get in touch with me around the beginning of the year and said, Dave, would you be interested in using our software? And I said to them, well, I don't have a machine. The software would be of no use to me. And they said, well, if we can get you a machine, would you be interested? I said, well, yeah, I would. So nothing much happened. Then a little while later on, I got another email from them. And they said, we're going to send a letter of introduction to another company. And we'll see how it goes. So yes, we are still live. Philip Quinn, not a problem. And so one thing led to another, and then CNC Router Parts said to me, Dave, we'd love to get a machine in your workshop and just to use it where you can, and that'd be great. So they sent it over to me. I assembled it. That was part of the deal. I did a very, very detailed video on how to put it together. And now I'm going to also be blatantly showing people this machine. You know, why not? The machine works beautifully. I've got it absolutely beautifully calibrated. It's going fantastic. Oh, you want me to talk more about my Patreon? Okay. If you have a look at the comments below, here's going to go to the big one now. This is going to be the deep one. This is going to be 3/4 of an inch deep. All of these are doing a 2mm pass to start, and then this one's going to be 9.56 or something millimeters deep. It's so accurate. Okay, so Patreon. Have a look in the comments. My first comment, which has been pinned. Have a look at the fourth part. Just click show more on it, and it should come up. And you can go into my Patreon site, and the whole thing is I use Patreon to fund the stuff that I do for this show. Like buying the sheet product to run stuff for you, buy these cameras. You know, I've got a few patrons here already. J. Parra is one of them. John Lafferty is a patron. You know, there's more patrons, and it ranges between $1 and $25. And it's just a way of saying thanks and helping me. And then in return also, I'm bringing you all this content. And I'm not charging you to get in to watch it. You know, if you want to help, that's great. If you don't, if the circumstances don't allow, that's fine as well. Okay, I'm going to read a bit more. John's saying, water-cooled spindle only really needed for the forces in the spindle and metal cutting, air only fine in wood. The other thing people have said to me about the air-cooled is, as it's happening, I'm not getting any dust, as you can see. That, you know why I've got such a clean workshop? I use good dust extraction. So there you go. I'm reading some of the comments as we're going. So a water-cooled spindle, if it was in a really dusty environment, yeah, you probably go for that. A lot of the ordinary, like with X-Carve and CNC machines that use a conventional router, they're using air-cooled. So it seems to go well. I'll read down through it a bit. Daniel Schroff, hi Dave, you're rocking on this CNC project. Come along. What size is the bed? Very impressed. It will take a full 8-foot by 4-foot sheet in there, which is just amazing. And it's not going to be long before it goes into its second depth of pass. Constructive criticism. Talk about like these guys throwing software and machines. It's like pickling blackberries for you. Yeah, it is, but it's good for them as well because they're getting a lot of exposure through my channel. So it works both ways. Wouldn't you rather someone advertising something like this? It's not really advertising, it's just me playing with it. But, you know, you could watch a boring ad on TV, or you could watch someone actually doing something that you had an interest in. I reckon it's fantastic. It works for everyone. Tim, is this an expensive machine or an average price one? Tim, this machine delivered in Australia would have been around 13,000 US. Going the second cut. See, it just lifted up and went down again. So it's got, I've told it to have a 10mm rapid lift, or whatever you call it. So when it goes to another part of a pass, it'll jump up 5 or 10mm and come down again. Okay, so that will answer your question there, Tim. Daryl, question to those in the US. Why can the timber Douglas fir recall Oregon? I have no idea, but that's a good question. Rob, having fun watch today, gave Dave Gatton live all about hold downs and clamps for CNCs now. Dave Stanton cutting grooves and holes. Yeah, W. John in Oz, Patreon, correct. Philip Quinn, love the content. That's great, Philip. Here I thought I was just your OCD keeping everything clean. From Zane, no, it's great dust extraction. Now that might be the full depth of that cut. It might start drilling the holes after it's finished doing these passes here. Sorry, Dave, this is from John. I have to claim first Stanton bench cut with a CNC. More than one crazy. Yeah, that's possible. Rodney Allen, hello, Dave from Utah. Alan, OCD is essential. Paul Mumford, good morning. Morning, Paul, how are you? Quite a large stock of sheet goods in the background. Are they 24 by 1.2 sheets? Correct, they are. Not long ago, I think I did something on the live show where I talked about fixing my pallet racking up, and I bought some stock with what people from Patreon had given me. I went out and grabbed some. It was one of the things I said it was going to be one of my first things. I got excited. I thought it was going to go for the next pass. Zane, John Lafferty, you can also claim the first 3D printed standard benches. Well, yes, of course. I'll show it to everyone in a second. Constructive 13. Gee, ouch, I guess I'll never be posh. Well, it all depends on what you want to do. Those size machines used to be about 90 grand. So, you know, they've come a long way, an absolute long way. Here we go. I think at the end of this pass, it's going to jump into doing some of the holes. And this is exciting. Graham, is there a reason it did the 4 lower cuts, then jumped back to the top one? Yeah, it's a different set of vectors. So the 4 at the top, well, here we go. Oh no, next pass. Okay, so I'm like a kid. Okay, so the 4 vectors that were 2mm deep, which are for the anti-slip, the cushion strip, actually they should really be around 1.5mm deep. I should really change that on the plans. When I get the chance, I will. I'll put it in the README text, I think. And then it'll come back. Very exciting. It's like watching the start of the Melbourne to Hobart yacht race. Okay. So there we go. Paul Mumford, well, thanks, Dave. Sorry I missed the kickoff. That's all right. You can watch the recording, Paul. Not a problem. Because it looks like the machine is taking approximately 4 times the time it would take for you manually so far. Trade-off, of course. You know the drill at... Yes. Okay, in the corner. Here we go. Here we go. Start some holes. That's the first of the little holes. They're 1/2 inch diameter. This is where it's going to start kicking it. The reason the slots took so long is that I hadn't set the settings correctly. As I said, this is a learning experience for me as well. Isn't this amazing? Come down for the middle hole. This is where we put the brass inserts into the bench. Oh, Sydney to Hobart. Yeah, look, I'm excited. I'm excited. Give me a break. And after it's finished this hole, 2 more plunges, and then it's going to go over and start drilling all the main holes, the dog holes. Here we go. This is the big area. These are 20mm holes, 2mm in the first pass to go through the melamine. Then every pass after that will be around about 5. There's the first one. I love it. Yeah, Philip, they probably would make that money back in probably even quicker than that. Graham, so clever. Are you going to start making and selling the benches? Yes, I will, Graham. I will definitely start making and selling. But I wanted to get everything perfect first before I started telling people. Exactly right, Wayne. Small steps for beginners. That's right. How good is this? Now, so far, we've gone 35 minutes, so I guess I'm around about 30 minutes into the job. It may not finish it during the show, but that's okay. What do you think of this? And as I say, the dust, there's nothing. Absolutely nothing. You're not listening to the commentary? Why is that saying? Can no one else hear what I'm saying? I was pretty sure you'd be able to hear what I'm saying. So I'm just making comment regarding Zane. Yes, it's almost as good as watching grass grow, but we don't get to listen to those commentary. Oh, right, okay. Yes, I understand what you're saying. So if you're watching the grass grow at home, you don't get to listen to me talking about it. Maybe I can do that one time. Okay, put the cameras on the lawn and turn the mower on. I love watching. I was talking to Nick Perry yesterday. I went to his Google Hangout, and it was fantastic. It was great. There was only a few people there, but it was fun talking to him. So Nick and I were talking about what he enjoys doing. So he likes doing stuff in his workshop, which he says generations down the track can see what he's been doing, much like Arthur. And I've made mistakes as well with Arthur's. When I was talking about Arthur last week, I called him my great-great-grandfather. He's not. He's my great-grandfather. As I say, there's so much happening here, I get focused. The build time difference between a CNC and the path guide system, chalk and cheese. Chalk and cheese. Again, because I have to set this up to run quicker, and my feed and speed rates is what it's called. No, it doesn't need to be sharpened mid-job. These cutters are fantastic. They're fine. All right, so when I said, hold on, last week you made your originals path guide. You mentioned there was a difference in the dog hole tightness between plywood and MDF. Was the chipboard any different? We'll find out. We'll find out. I'm reading things down the side as well. We're talking about Nick Ferry and grass grow. Now, Nick doesn't like gardening. His wife loves gardening. I love gardening. And one of my favourite things is mowing the lawn. Now, when I was younger and, had a lot of costs to look after regarding the family and paying a house off, I had to do it with a push mower. Now I've got a ride on, which makes it a whole lot quicker. It used to take around 6 hours to do here, and that was, terrible. Now it's super quick. It takes me about an hour to do the whole thing, finished all the edges, and it's done. And when you're finished, the job satisfaction is amazing. I'm going to switch back over here for a second. It's still cutting. Don't worry, I'm going to turn the camera on the other side so I can see. I get to watch what's happening here. I could open that door up, but it's going to let a whole lot more sound in. Okay, thanks, John. Yeah, so job satisfaction. I enjoy job satisfaction. From this project happening right now, I love it. But mowing the lawn gives me instant job satisfaction. You finished it, all your senses are fixed, The birds are singing, you're hearing, you're seeing a nice clean surface, all the edges are sharp, and the scent, the smell of cut, freshly mown lawn, I love it. And then I sit down, have a beer, and just have a chat to Vicky, or maybe a coffee if it's too early in the day. Just amazing. Okay, you wonder how long it takes for the bits to get blunt. Let's switch it back over so you can watch a little bit more. It's into its third row coming back this way. Hey, it might finish it all during the show. That'd be an hour, or just under. It sounds to be going great. So it's got another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 more runs, 9 more rows, 9 fives, there's 45 holes to go. Okay, let me see, where are we? Okay, Stephen, awesome, put me down for a Stanton bench. Dave, how hard would it be to get one delivered to Ohio? Okay, I'm having a chat with someone else at the moment about maybe trying to get them happening over there. So give me time and I'll get it all sorted out for you guys. Okay, constructive criticism. You know, I never get tired of watching a CNC at work. I know it's ridiculous. Watch it on YouTube all the time. They fascinate people beyond. One day, looking forward to getting the dust boot to you. Avoid that brush crushing. That'd be interesting too, John. Chris Sullivan, okay, I did it because one of your patrons, thanks Dave. Oh, you became one of my patrons? Thanks, Chris. That's brilliant, thank you so much. Ian, once you set up, you can knock off benches one after the other. Exactly right. I can have that machine running out there and still do things in here and have a ball. Saying, I think it would be great to have a camera set up in your backyard on a sunny afternoon, sipping a beverage or two and watching the birds come for a visit. Well, maybe one day we can do that. Constructive screws. I wonder how long it takes for bits to get blunt. These are white side router cutters that I've got from America, and I've been told they are very good. They haven't let me down so far. I've only smashed one of them when I told the machine to do something and I gave it the wrong command, it smashed itself. Okay, let's do down here. Jim K, maybe Rockler or Woodcraft could sell them for you. Maybe, Jim. Zane, nothing like the smell of freshly cut grass. Crypto Junkie, looks great, Dave. How is the accuracy, small efficiency gain there if you stop the cutter moving up each time between steps? No, it's an XML file that's fed the steps into the motors. This is directly from CNC. Mac 3 will allow me to change the steps to calibrate it, but the CNC router parts told me don't use that. The XML files that they've already installed are far superior. So I'm learning this stuff all the time. Where are we up to? Neil, job satisfaction is different for everybody. Exactly right. Philip, love the birds. Catch one and send it to me. No way. They're all free. They live wild. Steve Gibbons, enjoying the show for the future. Look at OBS software for picture-in-picture so we can see you while I have OBS software. Now, I will have to have a little bit of a think about how I can do picture-in-picture. Let me see. I'm having a quick look through here. View, full screen interface, multi-screen, multi-view. Okay, edit. You will have to show me how to do picture-in-picture. Send me a link on how to do it, can you? That'd be fantastic. No, it does not matter if it goes over now. I'm going to let this thing finish. This is fantastic. Look, it's what, 18 minutes left in the show? I think we'll be fine. 16 minutes. This is great. I think it'll finish it in time. Okay, Philip saw one of his other videos. Graham, when you come down and find your dining room table full of hosts, you know it's become self-aware. Exactly right. Ross, how do you determine when the cutter is dull? You'll see that there'll be a furry result left from any of the tracking from when it's doing a straight cut. Same as any other cutter with a router. John, good idea, Steve. Yes. You have to let me know how to do it. Okay, that's picture-in-picture. I'll do some research during the week anyway. Oops, typo from Graham. John, and I've heard it said that no one returns from the workshop and says that they've had a great day with the CNC. Proving that wrong. I'm loving it. It's gone past that's gone past halfway because we've come up to that half-inch hole. So there's not too much further to go. Chris Sullivan, my cat is sitting here with me watching the CNC going. Love it. Constructive criticism, Dave. To be industrial, just a thought. This setup is taking a long time. Needs to be a 15-minute job to go worldwide, I reckon. Just kidding. Run to the end. I will. Stephen Lee, I'm in the property management business. Cutting grass was fun for the first 5 years. Now it's a pain in the bum. Stephen, yeah, but that's doing it for a job, not doing it for yourself. Peter, Dave, who cares how long you go over? Mark Ritter, looks like a hula dancer when it cuts the holes. Constructive criticism, what would be the complete cost for this setup with software, machine, tools, etc.? I'm not sure. I'm guessing, as I say, about 13 grand US for the machine with everything that they gave me. And I think you can get Vectrix VCarve Pro, which would be fine for 2 and 2.5D work, which is all I'm doing at this stage, for around 600 US. And it's got exactly the same interface, which is brilliant. I was so amazed. I asked them last week about it, so they sent me some samples of what it looks like. And it's exactly the same interface, except for there's some of the tools aren't available. So if you follow my videos on how to set this up, how do you go through CAD and CAM, it's the same. It's the same as Aspire. Aspire really comes into it when you want to do 3D modeling, so I'm told. So I'm over it, and this is fantastic. What have you got? 1, 2, 3, 4 more lots of holes to do. And as I say, they are super accurate. Where are we up to? Frankie CNC and Woodworking Channel. Hello Frankie, how are you? Andrew, I want one of these CNC units when I retire and move to a house. Stephen, yeah, true, for your own place is different. Zane, Dave, you should cut an inlay for the name cut or fill it with resin. You know, I could do that. I could. But again, this one is just totally me having some fun. 13 is 18.2 AU. Okay, so for this machine, which, you know, will take a full 8 foot by 4 foot sheet, that's not bad. I reckon that's bloody good value. Okay, John, for your information, you can use other CAD programs. Indeed you can. There's all sorts of programs out there. There's Fusion 360, which John uses, and it will still run it. Frankie, you're good. What do you think of my machine, Frankie? 3 lots of holes to go, and then it's going to finish. Oh, this is great. And it's going to give us a little bit of time. Don't forget, I've got Michael Christopher's workshop I'm going to show you at the end here as well. And we'll take this out of the bench. If you get orders from people, or you put their name on them, I could possibly do that. Why not? Chris Sullivan, if you get that constructive criticism, I'd love to do 3D carving, make a few bucks, hoping for that sweet sunset someday. Why not? Zane, you're going to start Fusion 360 next week for your X-Carve? Cool. I reckon it's a great value machine. I'm going to have a sip of coffee. Yeah, the thing that slowed this job down was I should have put a bigger step over for the slots, and that would have done it. Yeah, I understood that, Chris. That's fine. Paul, it depends on the size with these machines. You can pick up a kit in Australia for around $1,600. Yeah. As I say, for this size machine, I reckon this is great value. And that's with the leg kit and everything. If you were to make your own base or own table for it to sit on, you know, you'd save probably $1,000. Neil, what type of maintenance do you need to do in the future? Nothing really. Basically, you have to grease the linear rail bearings, and you can see on the right hand side of the head, see, have a look at the area that's cutting, the dust hose going up. Well, on the right hand side of the plate that mounts it to the gantry, you can see a couple of grease nipples hanging out the side. So they've got to be greased, and the grease on the Z-axis, no, the Z-axis seal set, the Y-axis they need greasing as well. I could do, how long did it, Zane, I could band the edges. I know it's a prototype, but yep. Constructive criticism, how long did it take you to do the path guide in comparison? This is much quicker than the path guide system. John, if you need help, Zane, I'm happy to help. That's great. John, yeah, poor old John's in for surgery next week, so that'll be great. Finally, he'll be able to get back on with his life and without the pain that he's been suffering. So, John, if you want to tell anyone there about what's happening, go for it, buddy. This is great. This is fantastic. So we're nearly finished. When it turns itself off, I'll open the door back up and we'll go in there and I'll crack her out of the clamps. This has been an exciting day. I'm loving it. Very, very exciting. This is the last hole and it'll park itself again. It'll come up and go out and turn itself off. What do you think of that? What do you think of that? Okay, I'm going to go out there, open the door up, turn the dusty off. Ah, amazing. So the dust extractor was making a truckload of noise. Turn that off. All right, questions. You're going to want to know how clean it all is. All right, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to raise it up and send it down the end. Get it out of the way. Beautiful. And I'm going to turn it off. End session, yes. No, I'm not going to save anything there. Close all that and turn this off down here. All right, take her out of the clamps. I'm thinking about putting a couple of soundproof panels around the wall here. Now there's a bit of sawdust in the holes, but it looks like it's gone through everything. Now these holes I did with the these holes I did also. Can you see me here? Yep. With the machine. Such a nice fit. Look at that. Okay, time to bring it up. Now you'll see on the back where I did my test to start this morning, those couple of cuts. What I'm going to do, move that out of the way, and you can see here where the machine has punched through into the spoil board. That's what it's for. Have a look at the quality of the underside. Whoop, it's got the flipper over there. You can see it a bit better now. That's the underside. And there is nothing, no tear out whatsoever. It's absolutely beautiful. Flipper over to this side. That's the side that we've just done. See down the bottom, it says Stanton bench. Bring her in close. This is the deep slot. Magic, magic, magic. And all of these are beautifully smooth. Let's try it with something in it. This is one of the dogs. Ah! What do you think of that? Do you like it? Magic. Oh, so happy. All right, let's see if it'll take a little bit of the T Track. See if my measurements were close enough. Alrighty. Now I've got a bit of Veritas T Track and Craig, so let's drop a bit of... Ha! Look at that. How nice is that? What a fit. And the Veritas, let's see if that'll fit in. lay it down flat. Oh, it won't go to the end because it didn't finish that pass all the way. That's fine. Let's put it in there. It needs to be clamped down all the way, but because it's got the paper on the end of it. See that? It's got the label on it, what it is, and that the thickness of the paper was affecting it. Now it doesn't have it in there, and it's going down beautifully. Look at that. Push down. Look at that. Do you love it? Do you love it? Do you love it? Do you love it? I do. Alrighty. Okay, I'm going to switch cameras back into here. Okay. Oh. Here we go. Switch cameras. Camera there. Over to the transition there. What do you reckon? See this? Happy face. All right. Let me have a look here. I'm coming back up through everything just to have a quick read. Let me have a look. Blue edge banding, you reckon? Okay, how much time for the computer setup? Not a lot, not a lot. I created that file last night. Took me about half an hour. So once you start getting your head around all this stuff, it makes a huge difference. Okay. It is beautiful. Tim, it's magic. It's absolutely beautiful. Okay, you like that constructive criticism? All the best for John, yes. Good luck next week, John. Cheers, people. Best wishes to you, John. Zane, I'm conflicted. Using CNC to create the bench is really cool, but using the path guide and building one by hand is great as well. Yes, there is no shame in using the path guide system. I love the path guide system. And, you know, I haven't got the money to buy those things. It was never on my radar. I would not own that unless I was approached. And they said, do you want one? What was I supposed to say? You know, it's fantastic. But now that I own one, well, what do you want me to do? Keep it in a cupboard and not tell you guys about it? It's not going to happen. You know that I share my life experiences. This channel is all about Dave having fun, playing in the workshop here in the shed, and that's just become another toy for me to play with, if you want to look at it that way. Or I'm actually going to produce stuff with it. So I'm just in a very fortunate position. And, you know, it's also a lot of work. I'll tell you that. All right, where are we? Okay, just sliding down through. Everyone is saying how nice it is, that it's done a great job. And, you know, for John, best of luck next week. Because you love the channel. Thank you, Constructive Criticism. But this sure is fun to watch. From Peter. Who does test cuts? Love it. Looks amazing, Dave, from Mark. John, looks great. Frankie CNC, them holes in the spoil board for the clamps will round over after a lot of use. Will cause a little play in the clamps. Correct. That's why they use the clamps underneath to lock dogs down. Neat. Marcelo, terrific. Alan, dogs dangly bits. Dave, yes. Yes, it's the dog's balls. Flare for air. Very nice. Very nice, Dave. I'm jealous. I'm still reading through here. I like the blue track. I'm sold, Dave. How much for a bench as a kit? I'd have to work that out. I have no idea at this stage. Do my workshop showing next week. All right, Michael. I already have it here. If you want, I can run it. Tim, will removing the items from the dog holes each time uplift the laminate on the top? It possibly would if I was to make them out of melamine. The melamine one was just a test run to see how to go. Do you get to keep the machine? Graham, yes, it is my machine. That's it. It's totally and wholly mine. But CNC router parts are very happy with the feedback they're getting. You know, that's what makes the world go round. Where we down to great Dave. You deserve it. Thank you. Lostwitz crushed turquoise and epoxy in the lettering. Well, that could be it. I knew you'd love it, Dave, when you got into it. From Paul Mumford. Enjoy the toy. John, I can speak for everyone. We enjoy you enjoying yourself. Thank you. Ed Blau. Okay, so when can I expect to receive my Stanton bench? How much will it cost? I have to work all of that out. Okay, Peter Lysiak. John, if you'll be thinking good thoughts for you, son. I'll stick around equals run the video. Dave, do you have a list of things that you would like to run on your CNC? From Jeff, Graham, excellent, well done, you. Now, I am going to show you something here as well. We've got our winner from last week, from the other week with the iMuffs. And I was going to put the iMuffs on today, but here's Tanya. She sent me a picture in of her using the iMuffs in her workshop, and that's great. I love it when people can get a result out of watching the show. I know that doesn't sound right. What should I say? I love to be able to share what's happening here, and also the connections that I get with suppliers. I love to be able to help you guys out as well. Now, I am talking to another company at the moment about getting a pretty nice prize coming up not too far down the track. So we'll see how that goes, and that will be very, very interesting. Okay, I'm going to take you back to this picture here. How nice. It's just magic. I love it. That was pretty exciting, I got to say. All right, I think that's going to do for the show this week. I'm happy. If you guys are happy watching what happened, coffee. Thanks for the compliments on the show. You want me to run the video? Okay, Michael, you ready? We'll run your video here as well. This is Michael Christopher's workshop. And before I run it, I'm going to read it. You said, Dave, after your demo on changing the NVR switch on your dust extractor, I bought the switch and plate and had mine changed. I have had a remote with 3 PowerPoint remote units. I've used this brand as a single unit for my shed radio for over a year without any issues. After programming the spare remote into the one off the unit, I have now got all 4 units allocated. My dust extractor on one, a compressor inside a cabinet on another, the radio on the third, and finally my Gopher battery charger on the 4th. I've included a short video of this operation. Here we go.
Okay, just a quick video. I've got my dust extraction hidden in the corner here. After following Dave's instructions, I've had the switch replaced. I've now done remote control, so I can operate it from just one flick of my fingers. This remote actually operates about 4 other things, including my compressor that I've got hidden in the corner behind the white cupboard. It's not line of sight, but it does it quite good. It also operates a few other items, and as you can see, I'm just in the process of getting the workshop lined and everything else. Thank you very much. I know it's not long, but it's very small workshop. Thank you.
Isn't that great? I love it when people send in videos or pictures of their workshop and what they're up to. So please send photos into me or send a video. If you find that the video is going to be too large to email, what you can do is you can put it on Google Drive. If you have a Google or a Gmail email account, you can send something and it will say, would you want me to put it onto Google Drive? Yes, and then send me a link, or Gmail might even send me a link. So send it to davestantonfans@gmail.com. That's why I have a Gmail address, and I can share it here on the show. So thank you, everyone. I'm going to read down through here again. Thanks, Dave, and see you all later. Have a great week. What am I going to do next week? I've got no idea. I might do another little CNC project if you're interested, or maybe I'll do something on sharpening, or maybe I'll talk about, I don't know. What do you do? I've got to get to a point where I haven't got anything to talk about, but that day is long. Oh, show you the bench. For people that haven't watched the show, this is a Stanton bench that John made for me on his 3D printer. This is a 15% scale model. It's even got little legs. How cool is that? So there you go. John's off to get kidney surgery on Wednesday. So if you can keep him in your thoughts, that'd be great. If prayer is your thing, do it for him, because it's such a huge thing for John. He's a little bit, nervous about the whole thing. Who wouldn't be? But he's looking forward to having to be pain-free and get on with his life and have a great, as close to normal life as possible. So with that, you'll find something to talk about, will I? Yes, okay, yes, CNC, please. We'll see what we can do. Fantastic show. Thank you for all. Thanks, Steve. Tim G, love it, John. Okay, here we go. I'm going to say goodbye to everyone, and I'll see you next week. Be safe, and especially those people in Carolinas, and look after yourself. Be nice to other people. I'll see you later. Bye.